Hey Google, buy me a new PC. Okay. Hey Google, how much money do I have? Hey Google, how do I rob a bank? Okay, based on what you saw there, I'm kinda broke. And that's a bit of a problem because I don't really want to be broke. So I'm gonna make a really cool game and sell it. Alright, before I start this game, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of planning. Yeah, I know it's not the most fun thing, but it's really necessary for this game to be any good. So without further ado, here's my game idea. Oh yeah, I don't actually have a game idea right now. But that's okay because I'm going to enter a game jam and use the theme to get my game idea. Yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go look for a game jam that I can join. This one looks pretty good. Okay, so in the GitHub Game Off 2020, which is the game jam that I'm doing, you have to stick all of your source code on GitHub, which is okay with me because I was planning on doing that anyway, just in case any of you want to learn from my code. I'll of course leave a link in the description. Another nice thing is that the jam lasts 1 month, so I'll have plenty of time to finish my game. But even though 1 month is a really long time, it's not enough to finish a full Steam release like I want to do, so I'll be working on it post-jam. Anyway, I can't actually start my game till the jam starts, so I'm just gonna wait. Alright, the clock has just struck -1, which means the jam has started. So without further ado, let's go check out this theme. Okay, so the theme is Moonshot. Alright, so I've been speaking English my whole life, so obviously I know every single word. Yeah, I totally didn't have to look up what the definition of moonshot was. Hey, wait, stop. You weren't supposed to show them that. What are you doing? Stop! Stop! Okay, I've got my game idea now. You ready for this? My game is going to be an FPS on the moon. Now, I bet you're wondering how I came up with that. Okay, so maybe it's not the most creative, which is a problem because there are over like 12 FPS games out there, and if I want to compete, I'm gonna have to have an original idea. So after a bit of revision, here's my game idea. My game is an FPS set on the moon where ammunition is bouncy and you only have 1 bullet. Yeah, I don't see any other FPS games that are like that. So I think we're good. Now you're probably wondering how I came up with that. Well, if you rearrange the letters in moonshot, you get the word monoshot. The word mono comes from ancient Greek and means one or alone. And the word shot comes from English and surprisingly means shot. So if we slap those two together, we get one shot. And in this case, that translates to 1 bullet. Yeah, pretty cool. Now that I know what kind of game I'm going to make, I can actually start working now. So, after creating a new GitHub repository as required by the jam, I started up a new Unity project. If you didn't already know, Unity is the game engine that I'm using. Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint all you Roblox Studio developers watching this. To start off my game, I created a physics-based FPS controller, and I've done this a billion times already, so this was honestly a walk in the park for me. Okay, I'm not sure what was wrong there, but I managed to fix it within a couple seconds. Okay, you know what? This FPS is just not going to have movement, I guess. Okay, after quite a bit of refactoring, I managed to fix it and now it works pretty well. What's also nice about this is that the player can crouch and sprint as well as just walk normally. If you think this is cool, then slap like right now because if I get more than 1/3 of a like on this video, I might do a tutorial on this. Yeah, go do it now. Like, I'm serious, go do it right now. I can see that you're not doing it. You're not fooling. Alright, now that the movement's done, I think it's time that I start working on the shooting. But there's just one problem. I'm gonna need a weapon to shoot stuff out of because it'd be kinda weird if stuff just popped out of the air. So I opened up Blender, which is the 3D modeling software that I use, and started to model a pistol. Alright, now that the pistol's done, I think it looks pretty nice actually. But maybe you don't, so let me know in the comments what you thought of the pistol. Okay, now we have the pistol slapped into Unity, but it's kinda useless just sitting there. So I'm going to give the player the privilege of holding the weapon, cause I think that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, I wrote some code and now it works. Well then. Alright, after a bit of refactoring, I think it should work pretty well now. Okay, you know what? There aren't going to be any weapons in this FPS now. Alright, so I finally got it to work. But as you can see, there's just one small problem. Yeah, sometimes the weapon will clip through the floor, which is bad because weapons can't do that in real life. So I'm gonna try and fix it. Alright, after a bit of Googling, I figured out how I would solve the problem. See, my player sees the world through a camera attached to the player's head. We'll just call that camera 1. So, I first made it so that camera 1 wouldn't render any object that the player was holding. Then, I added a second camera on top of the first one. We can call that camera 2. I then made it so that camera 2 would render all the objects that the player was holding on top of camera 1. And as you can see here, it actually worked out pretty well. Yeah, I also added some weapon sway just to make it seem a little more realistic, and I'm really liking the result. Alright, holding the weapon is pretty cool, but if the player wants to get rid of it, there's currently no way for them to do that, so I decided to add throwing next. And by some miracle, it works. The logic behind this code is pretty simple. I wait for a key press, and then I add force and torque to the weapon, causing it to be launched forward and spin just a little bit. This is all really cool, but there's still one thing missing. Yeah, the player can't actually pick up the weapon yet, so I'm gonna go fix that. Alright, so I could make it so that when the player picks up the weapon, it immediately snaps to their hand, but I think that's kind of boring. So instead, I'm gonna have it glide to the player's hand because I think that'll look pretty cool. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it working properly. Okay, I guess not. Alright, after lots of debugging, I finally got it to kind of work, even though it's still a little buggy. But I mean, I'll fix it later. Now, this is all great, but the weapon's useless if it doesn't shoot, so I'm gonna try and work on that right now. Okay, maybe later. I guess for now I'll just start working on the recoil. The first part of making the recoil is to make some camera shake because, well, camera shake's pretty cool. When that was done, I animated the weapon and here's how it all looks. Now, I think the recoil looks pretty good, but what would really put the icing on the cake would be a muzzle flash. So I tried making one. But I wasn't really feeling it, so I tried again. And I still wasn't really feeling it, so I decided to make the muzzle flash some other time. Alright, I've run out of busy work, so I'm going to have to stop procrastinating and start working on the shooting. Haha, just kidding, I'm gonna start polishing some stuff. I began by finding a free skybox on the Unity asset store and slapping it into my game. Then, I found some bugs while picking up weapons. Yeah, you remember when I said I would get back to it later? Well, later is now. Well, actually, now is now, and later's later, but now is actually later from earlier, but now. See, when the player is running really fast, the weapon kind of lags behind them when they try to pick it up, which is kind of not cool, so I'm gonna try and fix it. Awesome, now it works. Alright, I've officially run out of busy work, for real this time, so I'm gonna have to start making the shooting now. The first thing I did was model an abomination of a laser in Blender, and it looks terrible, but it's going to have to pass. I slapped it into Unity, gave it an emissive material, and now it looks a lot less terrible. I then did some programming, and now you can shoot lasers that bounce off of stuff. Pretty cool. Next, I made it so that you could shoot through walls. Wait, that wasn't on purpose. Why am I able to do that? Alright, I can finally wrap up the shooting with particles spawning every time a laser bounces. And while I was working on that, a bug in my code showed me that I could actually use these particles as a muzzle flash as well, just with some slight adjustments. Alright, so it's about the time I would normally start editing this video, but I think I have time to squeeze one more thing in before that. And it's a really big mechanic, so if I'm able to finish it, it'll be pretty awesome. The mechanic is rebounding lasers. Now I'm sure a lot of you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say rebounding lasers. Well, basically, the player shoots, and then when they click again, the bullet gets sucked back into the gun, damaging enemies on the way back. I've never seen it used before in a game, so I think it'll make for some pretty fun level design. After a bit of programming, the bullets now get sucked back into the weapon. The way my code works is pretty simple. I wait for the player to click after they've already shot a laser, and then I really just add force in the direction of the weapon, and it gets sucked back in. This works great, but it's not really easy on the eyes, so I'm gonna add some particles. Alright, the particles are done, and it looks pretty cool. I'm really happy with the result. So yeah, that's my game so far. I'm obviously gonna keep working on it, and hopefully we'll be able to do a Steam release post-jam. So hit like if you liked, also hit like if you disliked, and subscribe if you want to see more bad videos like this. Alright boys and girls, have a great night, morning, afternoon. I honestly have no idea when you're watching this video. Just have a great day, please.